Okay, Chapter 4, Newton's Laws. Chapter 4 in the textbook, by the way, Unit 2 on the LMS. I gave you a bunch of questions there. The first one was 19, and there was a question asked about 19C and 19D. So I'll do those both, or show you how they work. And they are unit conversions. And if you haven't watched the video on unit conversions yet, watch that first, because I'm going to do a fast forward version of that here right now. So watch the video on unit conversions first before you try to figure this out. Otherwise, you might get a little bit lost, okay? All right, so 19C. The problem is they're giving us an acceleration of 5669 kilometers per hour squared. This unit is no good to us. We need meters per second squared, so we have to convert it or change it, okay? So there's two ways we can do that. We'll do it sort of the chemistry way, I like to call it, because chemists love this. We take 5669 kilometers per hour squared, and we use a conversion factor, like I explained in the other video. We want kilometers to disappear, and we want meters up on top. 1,000 meters. Oops, sorry about that. 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. I'm going to do it in two steps because my iPad is running out of room, whereas you could put the next factor in as well if you wanted. Well, maybe we can squeeze it in. We'll do both factors at the same spot. Okay, let me start again here. All right. We're also going to change the bottom. On the bottom, we have hours squared. We put the hours squared on the opposite side, so it'll cancel out, and then we want it to become seconds squared, right? 1 hour is 3,600 seconds, so 1 squared hour is 3,600 squared. I don't really need those brackets, but I put it there just to help you see it. Then we got to figure what all that equals. So on the top, we have to multiply 5669 times 1,000 times 1 squared, because it's hours squared, right? So 1 hour squared, but I didn't write it because 1 squared is 1. It doesn't really matter, does it? So on the top, we have 5669000. On the bottom, we basically have a 1 and a 1 and a 3,600 squared. Now, 3,600 squared is a huge number, so you can write it as just 3,600 squared, right? Let's just keep it that way instead of... And of course, that would leave me with these would cancel with those, top and bottom, and the kilometers would cancel with the kilometers. I have meters per second squared left over. So all I got to do now is do the math. So I take 5669000, divide it by 3,600, press your square button, press equals, and you get 0.44-ish meters per second squared. And that's how it basically works. Okay. You can also use the number conversion. I think last time we figured out that if you go from kilometers per hour squared and you want to go to meters per second squared, in the other video we shortened that to say simply divide by 12,960. And I think that'll work out the same. It should anyway. Divided by 12,960. And it does. So this is a shortcut of all the stuff that we did up there. Watch the other video. Don't call me or email me and say, sir, I didn't get that, and then you didn't watch the video from unit conversions. That's how we got that. Okay, let's do C, just in case you're having trouble with that one. Okay, so part C, here's what you have. You have 50 kilometers per hour per second for your acceleration. This one's easier. The seconds on the bottom is already what we want. Remember, acceleration is meters per second squared, or that's meters per second per second. So this guy's already good. All we got to do is change the top to meters per second. So we can write 50, and I'm just going to work with the kilometers per hour. I don't need to worry about the bottom, right? In fact, I'm going to write that as a fraction so we can 50 kilometers per hour. I'm going to just remember that we have that extra seconds on the bottom there that we're not worrying about. So to change this to meters per second, there's two ways to do it. We multiply by a simple conversion factor. We want to change the bottom and the top. So we put first we deal with the kilometers. 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer. Then we deal with the hours, 1 hour, 3,600 seconds, and then we multiply it out. So it's 50,000 divided by, and that would be 3,600. And these kilometers and those kilometers cancel out. These hours and these hours cancel out, and it leaves me with meters per second. So all I have to do is take 50,000, 1, 2, 3, divided by 3,600, and that gives me 13.9-ish meters per second. So that's the top part. So that means if you go back to here, I've done this part. I also have the bottom, so that's 13.9 meters per second, which is the same as 13.9 meters per second squared. There we go. The other way to do that is to change the top using the conversion factor. When we move from kilometers per hour to meters per second, we learned that you divide by 3.6. So if I simply start over and take the 50 kilometers per hour, so 50 kilometers per hour per second. Changing this part only, 50 divided by 3.6 turns that into, whoops, I think I made a mistake there, 13.8. Oh yeah, that's pretty close. 13.8. Actually, it's 0.88, so it does round off to 13.9 meters per second. That's 13.9 meters per second squared, same as the answer we had up above. So that's your problem probably on 19C and D. You've got to